And here we're going to be looking at a few cases of Padre Pio's incredible gift of insight, his prophetic gift into the plans of divine providence. We've got 3 examples here. Hello friends, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this channel, Great Saints. And if you're one of the people who's concerned about what's happening in our Catholic faith, that it's somehow being diminished by a series of scandals and continuous festering corruption, then do join us in this journey upstream to the pure sources of the great saints. We have a series of short stories on that, so do join in this apostolate. Make sure that you're subscribed, please. In our first story, Leonardo Andretto was from Venice. He tells us this story. Now, Leonardo, knowing that her friend Pogani would be going through to St. Giovanni Rotondo, she said to her, "Do you know that Padre Pio knows things of the future? Shall we put this to the test? Why not ask him in the confessional what the name of my baby will be? I'm expecting to be born in 1 month." And so Poganani agreed. She went to St. Giovanni Rotondo. She did as her friend had suggested. And there in the confessional, Mrs. Andretto of Venice, she said, is expecting a baby boy. And she would like to know what name to give him. "A boy? No. It's a girl," Padre Pio interrupted her. And so it turned out 1 month later, a little baby girl was born. And she was baptized Maria Francesca Pia in Padre Pio's honor. Somehow he'd known that, and it was obviously before all of the tests that we have today. Our second story, there was a Professor Matteo Merla who was talking to Padre Pio when someone approached them, and this person was so obviously in a state of absolute distress. And it turns out he came from a northern town in Italy, and he was sobbing about a relative of his whom the doctors they'd just given up on. There's nothing more they could do. And so he was obviously begging Padre Pio's help. But when the man left, Professor Merlo just could not hide his shock, his disappointment. And he turned to Padre Pio and said, "Father, you did not even give a single word of comfort to that poor man. I'm not a priest myself, but I know I could hardly even hold back my tears." And Padre Pio turned to him and said, "Merlo, you cannot imagine how it broke my heart to listen to him. It's really sad because..." And then he paused at this, hesitating, and he said, "Because he's already died." Somehow Padre Pio knew this, and of course it turned out to be true. We have a third story here, also very unlikely. There was a Father Giovanni Siena, tells us. He was an avid fan of the Mexican singer whose name was De Arteaga. He had most of his collection of records. And his big dream in life was one day to personally meet with the singer De Arteaga. Well, one morning, Father Giovanni was in the sacristy and is ready to help at Padre Pio's Mass, when Padre Pio turned to him and said, "Giovanni, go into the church and ask the Mexican who's there to come in here." Father Giovanni did as he was told. He went into the church. He announced over the microphone, "If there is a Mexican here, please come through. Padre Pio would like to speak to you." And sure enough, a man stood up and accompanied him through to the sacristy, and there they both proceeded to help at Padre Pio's Mass. Later on now, the Mass was over and they were both back in the sacristy. And Siena turned to him and said, "May I inquire who you are?" "Well, my name is Arteaga, De Arteaga." And he said, "De Arteaga, that is not possible. What an honor for me. How long it has been that I've wanted to meet with you." And Arteaga turned back to him and inquired, "And who are you?" "Well, I'm Father Giovanni Siena." "Giovanni Siena, how is that possible? I've also wanted to meet with you because I've read your book. The book called This is the Hour of the Angels, and I found that chapter on Saint Michael the Archangel just so impressive. I'd like to ask your permission to make a song from that chapter, because don't we both agree that everyone should know about these gifts of the Holy One, Padre Pio?" And so Padre Pio had somehow foreseen this, brought these two people together. There's no ways he could possibly have known except for a gift of prophecy. Now, on this channel, Great Saints, it's at the moment entirely voluntary, no remuneration, but we do rely on your support to make these things happen. To help us to grow the channel, please make sure that you are subscribed to our channel first. Click that reminder bell as well. And then after that, share these videos. Share them with friends, enemies, anyone who's going to benefit. If you do that, you'll be helping us in this Great Saints apostolate. We'd really appreciate that. And also do give the thumbs up. Click the thumbs up, like our video. We do thank you for watching this video, and we hope to see you next time.